Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another One Piece video. First time we're doing 2 One Piece videos in 1 week. Here's to many, many more. So far, I'm really liking this game. I've been watching my teammates play a bit. I haven't gotten around to quite playing myself. I want to do that soon now that I've heard One Piece is on Untap. So that's pretty cool. I'm definitely down to explore that. But anyways, we're going to talk about the Kaido deck in today's video. We're here in the channel Discord, which you guys can join down in the description. We're posting all the reveals here. Shout out to my teammate Matt for posting these reveals right to the Discord. Really do appreciate that. But we'll get into this. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss a video. And if you guys want to help support the channel, there are many ways down in the description you can do so. Very simple way. If you want to buy or pre-order any trading cards, use my TCG player link. Really does help out. Anyways, let's get right into this. A couple days ago, we looked at the Luffy deck. That seemed to be the aggro deck of the start of the game. Let's see what kind of role Kaido will fill. So we'll start off with the leader here. We have Kaido, leader, 5 life, 5,000 power, which I think is the same as Luffy if I remember correctly. 4 Emperors, Beast Pirates, activate main, Dawn -7, once per turn, send up to 1 opposing life to the trash. So if I'm reading this correctly, you have to sacrifice 7 energy, which is kind of insane. Okay, so it says return the specified number of Dawn from your field to the Dawn deck. So yeah, you have to basically have 7 energy, remove them from your cost area, and you burn your opponent a life. This seems insane in theory, also because there are a couple effects in the deck that allow us to quote-unquote ramp. If you're not familiar with what ramping is, it means like you're going to accelerate your energy, get more Dawns more quickly. But notice the leader doesn't really do anything the first like 3 or 4 turns of the game. It only has this burn effect, which honestly doesn't seem all that great. But I mean, of course, it's one of the first leaders of the game. We have to see what the main deck cards do to really pass judgment on this. Next up, we have Ulti, character 4 cost 5k power, Beast Pirate. She's a counter for 2k. When played Dawn -1, you may play up to 1 cost 4 or lower page 1 from your hand. So this will be dependent on what page 1 does, but I mean, being able to play a card for free, definitely not a bad thing. Next up, we have Kaido for the main deck. We have a 9-drop 10k. We have a 9 cost 10k power Striker. Again, mentioning from the Luffy video, I don't really know what the classes like Striker do. I haven't read anything that relates to them. Maybe there'll be stuff like that later, or maybe it's like Dragon Ball where they list the era and it doesn't actually really matter. Maybe it's just like a card art type of thing. But anyways, on play, Dawn -5, you can KO one of your opponent's cost 7 or lower characters. Then this character gains rush during this turn. Having a rush 10k battle card seems kind of insane, but having to sacrifice 5 Dawns seems a little steep, not gonna lie. I'm not quite sure how I feel about this one, again, if I'm kind of reading that correctly. Sacrificing 5 Dawns, I mean, I guess you don't have to do this effect necessarily. You can just play for its incredibly huge rate, but I mean, you want to remove something and gain rush, I guess. But I guess like if it gives you rush and allows you to go for game, then it doesn't really matter that you give up your 5 Dawns. So that's kind of one way you can look at it. Next up, we have King. So he is a character 6 cost, lots of high cost battle cards in this deck. We have a 7k Beast Pirates, on play, Dawn -1, KO up to 1 cost 4 or lower enemy character. This actually seems really good for me because of the fact that the game inherently you charge 2 Dawns per turn. So giving up 1 to KO what I would assume is like most things in the game cost 4 or less, that doesn't seem too bad. Again, especially because you can consider that this deck ramps Dawns. So I think that's a pretty okay cost in my opinion. Then we have Queen, 5-drop 6k. We have Beast Pirates, counter for 1000, blocker, on play, Dawn -1, draw 2 and discard 1 card from your hand. This is a really cool effect. This gives us some really nice filter that the Luffy deck didn't really have in any single way. The Luffy deck didn't have any draw from what I remember. This thing actually being able to filter out your hand is really cool, and the fact that he's a blocker is also very nice. Again, don't forget that you charge 2 Dawns per turn in this game, unlike a lot of other games. So this is not really a turn 5 play like it seems from first glance. This is actually more like a turn 3-ish play, which is pretty cool. Then we have Sasaki. We have a character 3 cost 4,000 shooter. This one is really blurred for some reason. I don't know why. But anyways, Animal Kingdom Pirates, on play, Dawn -1. You can draw 1 card, and then he counters for 1,000. Giving up an energy to draw a card might be okay if you can bring the curve of your deck down a bit. But again, there are a lot of high cost cards in this deck, so I'm not quite sure. But I guess I'll defer to the same logic as King, where you're charging 2 Dawns per turn. The deck ramps Dawn, so giving up a Dawn maybe isn't the worst thing in the world. Next up, we have Sheep's Head. So we have character 2 cost, 4,000 power slasher. He is just a very simple counter plus 1,000. His trait is also Smile, which is pretty hilarious. I haven't seen a card like this before, but very similar to the Luffy deck. Just a very simple 2-drop 4K, decent stats seems like, and a 1K counter, not too bad. Next up, we have another Sheep's Head, 3-drop 4,000 striker. Animal Kingdom Pirates. On play, you may discard 1 card from your hand, reveal 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck inactive. Okay, so this is going to offset all those effects we saw in the deck that have Dawn -1, right? This actually accelerates us by a Dawn, which is kind of insane. This is a deck that I think I'll get more of a grasp with if I actually were to play with it, because it seems like there's a flow. So your first couple turns, you're playing your lower cost cards, then you're like your turn 2, potentially you're playing Sheep's Head, getting an extra Dawn, and then you have various effects that minus your Dawn. So this card seems very, very important to the flow of the strategy, to the curve of the strategy, from my first glance at least. Then we have Ginrumi. So we have character 1 cost 3,000, very simple counter for 1,000, a 1-drop 3K. You know, seems decent. Yo, Dragon Ballers, quick break in the video to give a huge shout out to PPG, who is going above and beyond to make our organized play season the best that it can possibly be. I'm here on the PPG event management website. I'm going to link this down in the description, so all you have to do to sign up for any of these events is go down to that link. Next up is the Origins event, which is a huge one, guys. They have events going from Wednesday to Saturday. Practically every single day of the con, you can play a Dragon Ball Super event, among other card games. It's going to be an absolutely incredible time. Next up, after that, we have an event in Denver, which is for the Pro Play Tour organized season. Not only are you playing for an invite to the Pro Play Invitational, but you're also playing for $2,000 guaranteed. And if you want to, guys, there is also a Team War event in that same weekend, and Team War is one of the best formats to play. If you haven't played a tournament with your friends, you absolutely have to do it. And then finally, an event that I know for sure that I'll be attending is the Too Many Games convention in Philadelphia. This is actually a regional for the regular Dragon Ball Super organized play season. So again, guys, super huge shout out to PPG. Secondly, this website is so awesomely laid out. All you have to do is go to this website. All these different tabs here will take you to the events you want to sign up for. I hope to see you guys there. Let's get back into the video. Then we have Who's Who. So we have character 3 cost, 3,000 power slasher. On play, Dawn minus, which I guess was not clear because the card is very blurry. KO up to one of your opponent's cost of some cost or lower characters. So this is a 3-drop. I'm assuming this is going to be KOing something lower, like maybe 4 or lower, or maybe 3 or lower, something like that. But it's also got the trigger that says you may play this card. So this is going to be a card you can play for free out of your security. And it's got a pretty good utility effect, giving you additional removal. So similar to the Usopp in the Luffy deck, where you probably want to play 4 copies of this just so that it can be played for free and then offer its utility. Usopp is more of like an aggressive piece when it's played, but Usopp's kind of weird because you have to pump him up full of power to actually allow him to do damage to your opponent's leader. I mean, you could swing at battle cards that are rested on the board. That's totally a viable thing. But this thing, like, you can bring it to the board and you're most likely going to be able to get usage out of it immediately because it KOs card, which is really nice. So that seems pretty good. Next up, we have Black Maria. We have a 2-cost character, 2,000 power. She's a special trait. She's a blocker, and she has a counter for 1,000. So comparing this to the Chopper from the Luffy deck, this is a 2-drop blocker, which going second can be played turn 1, but going first has to be played turn 2. So that seems significant to me, at least. But I don't know, One Piece is a weird game where it almost seems like going second is always going to be better because you get to draw a card, you get to attack, and you get to start up on an energy. Again, I'll have to play more to like really get the feel for it, but in theory, going second seems really strong, which is weird because in most games, going second is usually not better. But anyways, then we have page 1. So don't forget, this can be played for free off of the ulti we read earlier. He's a 4-cost character, 6,000 power. He's a simple counter for 1,000. So the fact that he's 6,000 that can be played for free seems like a pretty big number. Like going up against the Luffy deck, the leader's 5,000. This hits for damage and forces them to combo a bigger than 1,000 combo, which seems pretty good in my opinion, at least. Then we have X Drake. We have a character 3 cost, 5,000 power striker, Marines, Animal Kingdom Pirates, and a simple counter for 1,000. So this being a 3-drop 5,000, it seems like the rates in this deck for, you know, the cost you're paying and the power you're getting out of it seem to be a bit higher than the Luffy deck from what I remember. But don't forget, the Luffy deck had Rush. They can, you know, kind of surpass the Summoning Sickness mechanic, and this deck accelerates Dawn, so it seems to be on par with the theme of the deck. Then we have All-Star Disaster, our first event card, 4-drop, Animal Kingdom Pirates, main, draw 1, then reveal 1 Don from your deck in active mode. So another card that accelerates your Dons and draws you a card. So replacing itself, accelerating you a Don seems very cool. Going second, this seems like a pretty solid turn 2 play, if I do say so myself. And then trigger, activate this card's main effect. Okay, honestly, I think you play for this card just for that. If this gets hit out of your life, you literally draw a card for free and accelerate a Don. That seems insanely powerful. Like, I don't know, just again, first glance, that seems really good. Then we have Brachio Bomber. So we have a 6-cost event, main KO up to one of your opponent's cost 6 or lower characters, then reveal 1 Don from your deck in active. So a turn 3 accelerator that also KOs a card seems okay. I'm trying to get my brain around the fact that this is not actually a 6-drop. It's more so like a 3-drop, at least when you go second. It's more so like a 4-drop when you go first. So yeah, I'm trying to wrap my head around that and use that to say whether or not I think these are good. Then trigger, reveal 1 Don from your Don deck in active mode. Again, another card that seems really good to have hit out of your security, but are we really going to play 8 cards in our deck that only really get massive benefits out of security? I mean, maybe. I'll have to consult my my teammate Zuhair about Digimon and see if they play cards just for that reason. I don't really think you do, because if they end up in your hand, they're just going to be dead cards. Like, again, the question really just becomes, does the game follow a pace where you can pay 6 for this? That's what I'm going to have to find out in testing. But again, the trigger effect seems insane. The main effect seems okay, but you're paying a lot for it, so it's going to take up your entire turn when you do this. The question is that worth it or not? Then we have Bolo Breath. So we have an event, 1 cost, very cheap, which is nice. Counter Don -1 up to one of your leader or characters gain 4,000 power for this battle. Seems like a pretty decent one. This seems good against the Luffy deck because, again, they're very aggressive. They can get up to big numbers with the leader attaching Dons and whatnot. So seems like a good main deck potentially, or just side deck, again, if there is going to be side deck, because of the Luffy deck. And then finally, we have Onigashima. We have a 3-cost stage, Animal Kingdom Pirates. Activate main. You may rest this card if your leader has the Animal Kingdom Pirates trait. Add 1 Don from your Don deck to your cost and rest. Okay, this seems really good for the flow of the strategy. But again, like, the things that seem really good for accelerating your Dons are not character cards. So you're not establishing board presence. And that seems like a problem on first glance, at least as far as like this strategy wanting to be super ramp heavy. So if you can get all this ramp going, and if you can get Onigashima online, all your Don -1s are going to be counteracted. Like, they're actually just going to be regular, like, free cost essentially, which seems very good in theory, but not consistently playing battle cards every turn seems like you might be a bit behind in the curve. But again, gonna have to feel it out when we play. But anyways, this deck seems very interesting. It definitely feels like a lot more cerebral than Luffy, which, I mean, Luffy's an aggro deck. You just play guys, you swing, you buff them up. Kaido definitely has a lot more interesting twists to him that I'm excited to try out. So anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below what you think about the Kaido starter deck reveals. I can't wait for this game to come out. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.